right. Let's get 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 right. You already know what it is, man. It's your boy Dealatofficial, and this is No Filters. Always appreciate you hitting that like button for me, subscribing to the don't miss an episode, and sharing this with the world. And of course, family, when you come in, get comfortable. Get you something to eat, get you something to drink, get you something to smoke if that's what you do. Cause you see the title, fam. Let's get into this here.
Maybe we should do a little deeper of a dig.
What up, fam? Chris in a
I
beat.
say all that to say, with everything we found out about Candace, about what she's alleging, the connections that all make sense, and Charlie, everything, and the fact that she keeps on bringing this information. Candace Owens has been a target of the government for years, and then the quotes, one of the quotes that you'll be reading in these text messages is, "We need to blackmail her faster," talking about Candace. This is from Mary Barr Daly, former senior DOJ official, daughter of former AG Bill Barr. Now, I figured, just so you understand that name, that's who that is. Now let's read these text messages. Can I go close? Should I just keep it here? I know some of you guys. Some of you guys are in your 40s. I'll make it so close for you. And I'm kidding, I need it close too. So this is actually September 14th, 9:11 a.m. That's weird, didn't really realize that. So I need you to start working on the blank, a big old blank here. And the target, the harder one is Candace, right? She's very resistant. Gather the group to come up with a good strategy, but don't waste.
Fam, what's up with that?
I wonder who else was ticking them off at that time. September 14th, 2021. I wonder who else was ticking them off.
Lori in the building, Ruth in the building, Chris in the building, Mama Marie in the building, Uncommon Woman in the building. I see fam.
The Prez, the big Prez, right? That's what I think of. You know which Prez I'm talking about, right? You know who I'm talking about, right? You know, right? That's who I think that is, because it's just so small. Like, what name could fit that small? You could go Kirk, but what was Kirk really doing at that time that was ticking them off? Let me know in the comments if you can think of that. My thought is the Prez, 100%. Now it says blank of black and blank. I don't know who black is. If you could figure out who black is, please let me know. You can email, everything like that. Then the person says at the end, I don't want to be on that. Just like straight up, no, not me, please. Then another next text message on the 15th, 10:23. I just go through that. I was going to just put out an episode about this whole thing, but then when I started looking at it and understanding it, I was like, maybe we should do a little deeper of a dig. But I say all that to say, with everything we found out about Candace, about what she's alleging, the connections that all make sense, and Charlie, everything, and the fact that she keeps on bringing receipts, that she keeps on pissing people off, this does make sense that this would happen. But let's dig in. Now, Project Veritas released this information. It says Candace Owens has been a target of the government for years. And then the quote, one of the quotes that you'll be reading in these text messages is, "We need to blackmail her faster," talking about Candace. This is from Mary Barr Daly, former senior DOJ official, daughter of former AG Bill Barr. Now, I figured, just so you understand that name, that's who that is. Now let's read these text messages. Can I go close? Or should I just keep it here? I know some of you guys. Some of you guys are in your 40s. I'll make it so close for you. And I'm kidding. I need it close too. So this is actually September 14th, 9:11 a.m. That's weird. Didn't really realize that. So I need you to start working on the blank, a big old blank here. We don't know what that is. And Candace Owens case. Person says, question mark. Then they say, Armstrong will give you commands, but we need to focus on black and blank. Again, don't know who that could be. It's even shorter. Work with Armstrong on this. Send some girls to secure him. He's an easy target. The harder one is Candace, right? She's very resistant. Gather the group to come up with a good strategy, but don't waste time. For blank, it would be good to have something we could use to put him in jail. Oh.
Thank you so much.
I think just because of how short it is, you notice the shortness of it? I wonder who else was ticking them off at that time. September 14th, 2021. I wonder who else was ticking them off. Because when I see how close how short it is, well, the first thing I think of is the press, the big press, right? That's what I think of. You know which press I'm talking about, right? You know who I'm talking about, right? Right? That's who I think that is, because it's just so small. Like, what name could fit that small? You could go Kirk, but what was Kirk really doing at that time that was ticking them off? Let me know in the comments if you can think of that. My thought is the press, 100%. Now it says blank, black and blank. I don't know who black is. If you could figure out who black is, please let me know. You can email, everything like that. And then the person says at the end, I don't want to be on that. So they're just like straight up, no, not me, please. Then another next text message on the 15th, 10:23 a.m. Have you been working on the issue with Candace Owens? We need to blackmail her faster. Now that, I don't even know how to say it, Calkick has been very affected. Tell Armstrong to send the photographer to follow her and also follow her husband. Now, who they're talking about is Candace there. Follow Candace, follow her husband. AW want to know if they need to focus on Candace or blank. They said Candace first. Again, I am so angry at her. Let me just move this over so you can see it completely. I'm so angry at her that I can't stop thinking. If the things she says about Calkick are taken seriously, they will investigate the use of the money in the election campaign. We have to bring out material to destroy her reputation before she gets us. Now, this is wild stuff, right? I mean, just the fact that, we're reading blackmail her faster. It's just crazy, absolutely crazy. Now, that makes sense. Candace ticks a lot of people off. And in fact, as much as there's a certain side of people who say Candace and Charlie had no connection, they had a connection of, when you really, and I always thought this about listening to interviews with Charlie, because I would always watch him on other people's interviews because they would dig deeper into his faith and what he believed. And I was like, this guy, he might not put on a tinfoil Speedo, but this guy has an arraignment of tinfoil hats in his closet that he doesn't tell anybody about. Because he would just know about certain things that you don't know about unless you're part of the tinfoil community. You just don't know about these things. And he would talk, there's certain things he would touch on, but then also on his show, he would talk about certain things, whether it was Jeff, whether like everything that Jeff and Jeff's connection to, Philadelphia, he was touching on some real, France and everything there. He was touching on some really serious things in a really Candace type of way when you would watch his show at times. He would go off. So I just wonder who Candace was ticking off here. But I actually found out. Right? I did a little digging into who this lady was. Maybe you knew who Calkick was, but I didn't know. So this is Calkick. Kim Calkick. Kimberly Calkick, live. Weekdays, 9 to noon. So this is her. Former GOP congressional nominee. Endorsed by Prez. Radio talk show host at whatever that is, WCBM 680. Podcast on Watch We the Free. Never heard of any of these things, but this is her. And I was looking into it. I'm like, who is this lady? And then I started seeing this lady's replies, because that's what I had to dig into to really understand who she was. And it's just part of the process. So I started seeing some of her replies, reposts. Absolutely. She said the same thing about the prime minister, how the prime minister misrepresented the letter Charlie wrote him. The PM then went on Fox and read the letter. Candace Owens lied. The prime minister told the truth. That's one example of many. And this was in a response to someone saying, can you point out specific examples where she cried wolf? Are you saying she's lying? If so, et cetera, et cetera. So they were asking for proof. She produced this as proof that Candace lied. If you read that letter from front to back, it's not exactly a love letter to the Philadelphia PM there. It's not exactly a love letter to that guy. It's more of a plea to do things better, and you need help with your PR. And honestly, he did the same thing with Gavin Newsom. Honestly, he actually, Charlie, I'm talking about, he told Gavin Newsom the same type of stuff. He's like, your methods are terrible. You guys don't know what you're doing. And actually, and I was really upset with Charlie for this, because after he met with Gavin Newsom, sat down with him, was the first guest on his podcast, Gavin Newsom started tweeting good. Gavin tweets pretty solid stuff. He's going at Rogan. He's going at the Prez. Like he's good at the social game now, because Charlie taught him that he needs to have people in place who are younger, and they need to actually make movement where it matters. So Charlie taught him that. And I never liked that. I've made many posts about Charlie being like, you should never be forgiven for this. This is terrible, what you've done. Because, what if 2028 Gavin? Oh my, it would be the worst, right? So, and that was in response, this whole thing was in response to her saying this. As we move on here, she said Candace could very well be under threat. Problem is, she cried wolf and exaggerated so many times. 60% of ex-users don't believe her. It's an unfortunate reality she brought on herself. Now, just a side note, that's going to become the narrative very slowly. The narrative is going to be, she did this. This is her fault. The same thing that happened to the Prez. The same exact thing. Oh, well, he said all these things, and that's why that happened to him at Butler. No, it's really his fault. That same thing is happening with Candace. And that same thing happened with Charlie. People were producing all sorts of tweets and examples of why this happened to Charlie. And it was actually Charlie's fault that this whole thing happened. Absolutely ridiculous. But going on, I was like, why does this Kim lady have it out for Candace so much? Candace spent 2 months telling her followers about the administration, especially the FBI, can't be trusted. Now she's running to them for help. I've noticed no one from the administration has publicly acknowledged any of her claims. And she doesn't realize, this lady, this Calkick,
She doesn't realize that that's more telling than she realizes. They haven't. I said it on yesterday's episode. They did that for Benny Johnson. For Benny Johnson, they had no problem. They had a press conference. Somebody actually came for him. They were planning to do something to him. They got him, his 4 kids, maybe 5 now, his wife, everything. They took it very serious. Pam Bondi flew to Florida to make sure that everybody knew this will not stand. And they haven't done that for Candace. I don't think that means Candace lied. I think that means that there's something up with those people. The it's on my desk lady and the guy who's bug-eyed, who's like, everybody acted alone and my girlfriend makes great country music. Maybe those guys can, maybe allegedly, perhaps, those people who have disappointed us and not done the things that we have asked of them, expected of them, are a little untrustworthy. Maybe, I could be wrong about that. So I go on, Candace Owens, very well, okay, we already saw that one. Then I see this, somebody repost this, right? And this is under the Project Veritas post.
Hit that like button, subscribe right now, double tap that screen, we cook it!
25th, 2 weeks before those text messages were sent. Candace says, LOL. Kimberly is a former stripper fraud who has blocked me on every social media account since I exposed her shady FEC filings. She launched an obvious, frivolous lawsuit, read it, about me calling her a madam to distract/avoid questions about her FEC filings. So that, what she's saying right there, really lines up with what we have here. It really, really lines up. Now, I'm going to show you parts of it that make me kind of question it as well, just because I want to give you the full spectrum of what I'm thinking here. But yeah, when Candace said this, and this is crazy. Candace is crazy. I mean, listen, I'm not saying she's a liar, but the things she's willing to say, I love it too, man. When you have a huge following, you should just be willing to say some stuff, you know? I love it when people have this huge following and people think like, oh, if you have that many followers, you should be buttoned up and you should conduct yourself. You should be statesman-like. You should be like a statesman. Get out of here. It's still normal people. Be normal. You know, it's the worst when you see someone who's like, well, I mean, the platform is now bigger, so we should operate a little differently. No, don't start doing that. You know what I mean? Anyway, so she says that. I'm noticing she said more. Should I read this? Whatever, Candace doesn't swear, it's fine. Every person who gave to her campaign should demand answers about where the money went, particularly Fox and Lion LLC, as well as the Pearl events. Any journalist who wants to be taken seriously should look at her FEC filings. It's the GOP story of the year. Whoa, okay. And then she went on to say more. In case you are missing the guts of this story, you can start here. She is also frivolously suing journalists who investigate this video, and I determined I was telling the truth. TikTok, Kimberly. So there is something to these text messages. They say that Calkick is so affected by this, and this is why, because Candace is going hard. Let's see what this is. I might have to blur something given the subject matter she's talking about. Let's see. What is this? Oh, it's not there anymore. I wish it was still there. Okay, it's not there anymore. But we press on. So, this is why Kimberly, not just what Candace was saying, but this is also why Kimberly doesn't like Candace anymore. Or like at all, remotely. Candace Owens wins $150,000 against Black conservative Kimberly Kalkick, who sued her for defamation. So that ended up happening. This is just a one pager here, but it basically just says Candace Owens emerged victorious in a lawsuit that was filed against her by Kimberly Kalkek, who sued the controversial author for $20 million in the summer of 2021. Wow. According to Law and Crime, in addition, Owens winning the lawsuit, Kalkek must pay a judgment of $115,000 to the Daily Wire host. She's Daily Wire host at that time? Cool. The lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice in December. The judgment amount is inclusive of all claims for attorney fees. Wow. Very, very interesting. So there is a beef there. There is a beef there. So now this actually makes a whole lot of sense. You know, this person, whoever this is, they're saying that it's Bill Barr's daughter. Kalkek was very affected. They did have to move fast on this. It seems they didn't want to be investigated at all. Candace was the one that you have to focus on, because if we're at September 15th, and this all had, Candace said all this at the end of August, you got to get moving. You got to get moving ASAP to make sure that Candace is silent, right? So now we get into the part where I start to question it. So this is the first part I questioned here. So I'm seeing this number, right? And I'm seeing that it's a 971 number. And I see that, and I know all about that. That's New York. That's Brooklyn. That's Bronx. That's Queens. That's a New York number, is what I'm saying. So I was like, is this person from New York? So I started doing some digging here. And I wanted to know, where is she from? So she's not from New York, right? Parents are Bill Barr, Christine, blah, blah, blah. She earned her bachelor's, blah, blah, blah. So she's not exactly from New York. At this point, it's telling me that she's American, and that's not what I'm asking, so I have to dig deeper. And I said, what state did she work in when she was DOJ? And they say she worked in Virginia and Washington, D.C. during her time with the Department of Justice. She served as a federal prosecutor in Virginia, handling cases, and later worked in Washington, D.C. as the DOJ's VAT coordinator.
Hit that like button, double tap that screen. I don't think you really know what's going on here. Let's bring you up to part. You up in here with your boy Dealatofficial, my fan. And you know this no filters. You hit that double tap that screen, subscribe, become a member today. You know it's nothing but freeness to be up in here with family, to understand what's going on and read in between the lines. Let me tell you what's going on. Now, if you look at the cover of the title of tonight's topic, you can see messages, and then you can see a tweet, okay? On that tweet, in that tweet, is Candace and her whole company discussing why they're not going to be going live this week, right? Now, if you trip off of it, I'm finna read it to you. Listen up and listen clear. I'm about to read to you. This is what the tweet is from Candace Owens. It says, our show will be off air this week. Okay. Then it says, as an update, both the White House and our counterterrorism agencies have confirmed receipt of what I reported publicly. Okay. She's talking about what she reported publicly about saying that she felt or knew or heard that someone put money on her head, like a hitman, paid assassin, right? So she said that the White House and our counterterrorism agencies have confirmed that rumor, okay? Yeah, they confirmed it. Now, it says, Emmanuel Macron attempted to organize my assassination per a source close to the first couple. Now, Listen to that. She just put down, she dropping names now. First name, last name. First name, last name. Emmanuel Macron attempted to organize my assassination per source close to the first couple. So that's she dropping name. Now, let's read on. It says, also, I will again state that the French legionaries were involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination, but they did not act alone. Here she go again. She's saying it. She's saying what she's saying right now. This is Candace Owens saying this as a tweet. She said, also, I will say again and state that the French legionaries were involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination, but they did not act alone. Now, that's what I had an issue with last night. Speaking about and saying who did and who not did, but then we're looking at people like Erica Kirk. We're looking at Trump. We're looking at the activity, how everything has been done in the way and the manner it's been done in. So for her to just be making this a political situation, okay? Because I feel like all her whole arguments have really been like Israel did it, just another country has done it, basically. That's her argument. Another country has done this. Now, I'm not saying they haven't or have conspired with others, but it's different when they conspire together. Because even if people wanted somebody done, they can just call they people and say, hey, go get them gone. Or I want you all to handle that. Because they all tied together. So that's nothing about picking up the phone saying, hey, French Quarter, I need y'all to go take care of that for me, fam. Yeah. Yeah. And right now, the last thing she said is that for all of you who doubted my claims, you can now look to the president and our intelligence agencies for statements to confirm. So, yeah, you can doubt the claims. And respectfully, I've heard about it, but I said, hey, listen, it's a part of me is saying, hey, yeah, but then another part of me is saying, okay, this is gonna have to be a publicity thing. But it's hard for you to know what's really real and what really ain't. When people are already playing both sides, or when people don't want to acknowledge people. Like if she acknowledged Erica Kirk, when we acknowledged Erica for the back door, for the secrets, for the exposure, for this, that, and the other, I would have probably believed her. But again, it was a lot of things she stepped away from, didn't say nothing about, and it's right there in her face, like it's in our face. So I've always felt some type of way about that for sure. But we living in a time where the good is looked at as bad and bad is looked at as good. And this is so confusing to not think that yet. If this was really real, the government would step in. But then she said in the tweet that they did step in. You would want to know, like, when, why, how long did it take? What did you have to say for them to step in? We in a time, man, we can't do nothing about nothing, fam. And I'm going to tell you the truth. If Candace Owens' podcast take a step back, but they continue to report what's going on, this could be some of her last days doing her pod. So for those of you that love Candace Owens, this could be some of her last days doing this podcast. Because this threat is so serious. You're talking about another president of another country putting money on your head. This ain't your partner down the street. This ain't your old rivals. This ain't getting into it with people on site. This is somebody in a whole nother country putting a bag on your head. And they talking about publicly, it's just news. Boy, this ain't just news. Back in that day, this would have never been said. This ain't even that. But so much is going on crazy. It's so much crazy work that this just fits. It fits. Because it's that crazy. It fits. For everything that's going on, this is fitting to say, hey, that's a hitman from another country, another president from another place has put money on your head, and then she found out and then told the public, and now she's just gonna keep us posted. Have everybody on the edge of their seats like this is a movie. It's exactly what this is gonna be, exactly what it has done, and exactly where it's headed. It's a big movie, man. And right now, Candace is the leading role and leading actor. You think her husband not tied in with them folk and he got power and she don't? Boy, you stupid. People be thinking, oh, this little black girl just got power on this computer like ain't nobody else had nothing to do with that. You crazy? See what I'm saying? Fam right here, Sky. Sky said, she just said if something happens to her, she sent packages of emails and texts, etc. to trusted allies, told them to leak it. Come on, man, make it make sense. You see that, fam? They said she sent packages of emails and texts, etc. to trusted allies and told them to leak it if something happened. She done already sent out what's going on. There's some, see, that's what I'm saying. And see, you saying this publicly. So who's gonna let you say this publicly? And just be on it. Bear with me. It's a real thing. Because if Candace Owens comes up missing and they go live on news or like the world news, that's when you know it's really real. If CNN reports that Candace Owens is missing, that's when you know it ain't got real. Because right now, the way it's being said and the way things are coming out, it sounds like a big movie. You know what I mean? It just sounds like a big movie. Because they're going to continue to put the information out. But she ain't doing no podcast. She just on Twitter like, hey, you know, the counter-terrorists, I'm protected by them until the threat is done. No. That's right, Chris. Her tweet talking about that. She is somewhere right now, and don't nobody really know where she's at right now, Ruth. So the biggest thing that I'm talking about is just the fact that saying that, no, she's not okay. She's in a place where she's reserved right now. Because right now, she's talking about the people that's talking about putting that money on her head. Yeah, so she's not reserved. She's not okay doing nothing. Because at the end of the day, believe it or not, she gonna be doing that podcast for a little second, probably. Hit that like button, subscribe, family. It's a real thing here. We cooking.
That sounds like a wild job. What a wild job description that is. Was she born in New York? No. I'm trying to figure out why this lady would have a New York number. That's what I'm trying to figure out. No. She was not born in New York. She was born in 1979, grew up in Maryland. Her parents are Christine Barr and William Barr. While she worked as an assistant U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of New York for over 4 years, her birthplace is not New York. So she did work in New York, right? Then I went, what years did she work in New York? Well, she worked in New York from 2003 to 2007. She was working that role. She married Michael Daly May 12th, 2007, as noted in her New York Times wedding announcement, which, now I'm thinking, hold on, Michael Daly. Can I just look this person up quickly? Let me look up Michael Daly really quick. Okay. Can I ask a question about Michael Daly? You're giving a lot of information, and none of it is what I'm looking for. Can I ask a follow-up question? Is Michael, this might answer my question, Daly from New York?
What's in your goodie bag, G?
Let me see this. Just a quick impromptu. Yes. Oh, okay. Wait a second. What? Who is this? Wait a second. No, this is the wrong Michael Daly. This has to be the wrong Michael Daly, obviously, 1924. I'm asking about Michael Daly. Michael Daly. Is that the right? So no, I said F Daly. Michael Daly, who is married to, what was her name? Mary Daly Barr.
Ooh, really?
Sorry, guys, a little impromptu research here. Let's see this. Yes, Michael Daly is from Brooklyn, New York. Oh, okay. So that makes sense. So this was one of the reasons I was questioning it. Okay, so she did work in New York from 03 to 07. She marries Michael in 07. He's from New York. Now that answers my question, because a big question for me was, why would she, if this is her, why would she have a New York number? That makes perfect sense. Husband's from New York. They're going back and forth to New York. He might even have a house in New York, probably has family in New York. You keep the New York number. Maybe you got a phone plan, and maybe if you switch your number at all, it takes it away. It takes away the great plan you have. I don't know. Maybe you have 50 gigs of data or something crazy like that. I don't know. But that makes a lot of sense. So her husband's from New York. Okay, so for me, that gives me a layer of more authenticity when it comes to these messages here. Now, here's the other thing that I questioned, okay? Where it came from. You also have to think about where things
Okay, now real quick, just so you know,
now,
real quick, hit that like button, subscribe right now. So let's bring you up to date. These messages you looking at are from the DOJ, okay? Department of Justice. Multiple people were conspiring against Candace Owens with the Department of Justice. That's why they asked, hey, did you all get the photographer to follow Candace and her husband? We need to be able to bring her down. I mean, these are the things that was being said. And I want y'all to really hear that, because I know we've been in here like talking on some things, but real life, yeah. And then when they actually seen, when they showed the other girl, the campaign person, they was talking about how they needed to stop Candace from talking about that girl. And these are the emails and messages that go on every day. So what I'm saying is like, they've been targeting this young lady. And I've said in my head, like, how is they allowing? Well, they ain't allowing nothing, because we all creators. We have our own right to create. It's just the point where some of the things you're saying, and then you're Charlie Kirk's friend, or you know some stuff. Things have gotten deeper than that. You know some things. That's different than you just being a YouTuber and just talking about your opinion of what you think. Like we do here with No Filters. But it's the fact that, oh, you've been behind the scenes. You know what's up. If they've been targeting her like this, and now you telling me they finna put money on her head today? Nah, something ain't right, fam. They've been targeting her like that. They've been targeting her like that. If they've been getting it, if they've been talking about her this long, and finally now is the time to just go public like, hey, we just finna put a bag on her head and get her gone. So yeah, don't nobody know what Candace Owens is right now. No, we don't know nothing. Don't nobody know nothing. Don't nobody know where she at, what's going on, how she doing, how she breathing, how she coming, how she going. Don't nobody know nothing. Yeah, nobody know nothing. But the point I'm making is that we don't know who she is. Just like other people, we don't know who they are. So when we just riding on the string, yeah, Candace Owens got a husband. Yeah, white man, he a husband. I forgot he like mixed or he a white man, but yeah, she got a husband. Candace Owens has a husband, yes. And because of who he is and the political figure he is and where he at, yeah, she got power. She got a lot of power. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a big difference, fam, because, you know, just because, again, his position, she got a lot of power. You feel what I'm saying? So, again, she's been allowed to discuss certain things. You understand what I'm saying? Big difference, though.
Now, this is entirely my own bias. This is just my bias. It comes from Project Veritas. Now, I don't know if you know about the history of Project Veritas, but Charlie, Candace, they came out in support of the founder of Project Veritas. Now, what happened to the founder of Project Veritas is he did a big story on a company that rhymes with miser. There we go. Company that rhymes with miser, okay? And he did a huge, I don't know, hit job on them. He actually found one of their executives. They had a secret camera. The guy was on a secret date. He told very sensitive information. You know, founder of Project Veritas brought that to the masses. And then all of a sudden, a week or two later, he's being forced out of his company by the donors who are nameless, just like Turning Point. And before you know it, he is out of his company.
Out of it.
Done, facing a lawsuit from the company because they're suing him, saying that you can't do your news content the way you did it with Project Veritas, because Project Veritas has claim to hidden cameras and secret recordings and things of that nature. They were stating that they had claim over doing things like that, and it made no sense. So obviously the founder fought it. He erected another company. He started another company, and before you know it, company blew up. He was done with donors because he knew that they were nameless and faceless and they could do things behind his back. So he went for profit. It's being funded by the people who support him, whether it's subscribing on X or actually going to his website and subscribing there. And he has a lot. He was actually one of the first people to find Pam Bondi talking about the footage that she was going through that was on her desk. And the only reason she brought that information to the public, you know, thousands of hours to go through. The only reason she did that was because James actually recorded her secretly talking about it, released that, and then she had to come to the public with it. But aside from that, the thing about Project Veritas is hard to trust Project Veritas now. In my opinion, that's just me. Big supporter of James, love what James does. He actually follows me on X. He's like one of the first people to actually see what I was doing and be like, hey, I should follow this guy. So I like the guy quite a bit. First guy to repost my stuff, in fact, as well. He put it on his own YouTube channel. I was shocked. But yeah.
So what's important about what this brother was doing was really breaking down messages that was found saying, hey, Candace Owens really is being targeted. Candace Owens really is in a situation where her life is on the line. So I think that was a major thing because a lot of people believe, a lot of people don't, even myself. I'm like, okay, what we doing here? Is she really that? Is it not? Because ain't no police saying nothing. I sure ain't hearing Trump in them saying
where to
nothing.
go with?
So that's a big deal, you know what I mean? But it's just different to me because you would think somebody getting threatened from another country, in your country. And I was just not hearing that. So that's why I was more confused, I would say, because you're not getting that respect or you're not getting that response that I was more so probably expected, knowing that one of ours on our land is being, or one of ours is being threatened by somebody else in another country. And it's like, okay, what we gonna do? Do we care? Do we not? Is she not important? Is she just whatever? You know, so it's hard to say, you know, but when you're talking about now, it makes you almost have to think like, she may have to stop doing podcasting. Because if she got to get put up right now, how long, tell me right now, fam, how long do you believe Candace Owens is finna be hiding? Tell me that right now. Type it right now in the chat, right now, fam. How long do you think Candace Owens finna be hiding to come back outside and do the podcast? I'll wait on you. Type it in there, let me see it right now. Huh? How long she gonna be for she just finna just come on back with it? Ruth says 0. How long you finna be able to just do that and then what? So you gonna just walk away and then just magically appear again and be like, well, hey guys, how's it going? This is my first episode since the threat was on my life that they never lifted off or nobody never was caught. I want to know how long is she able to step away and just come back like it's nothing, never like she never left, nothing never happened. Nothing is nothing. Oh, because cause see now you gotta understand now they're becoming a target. That's the problem. They're becoming a target now. So then what you gonna do? Then what you gonna do? What you gonna do then?
Let's get into it. Coach Colin here. What's going on, guys? And also, I forgot to say, shout out to every hospital. They were in the parking lot when Charlie and Mikey McCoy in another vehicle came to the hospital. And what he says he saw is pretty interesting. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little flashback, of course, into what Rob McCoy said. But there is a creator on here. I'm going to kind of skip through them. They got a very unpleasant voice. If anyone knows this creator, and it's not the person whose name is in the corner, it's not them. Yeah, if you know this creator, tell them no with the voice. The voice is just absolutely terrible. Okay? It's just so bad. Anyways. Let's get into it.
I'm looking at my son who's 24 years old. I think he's the chief of staff. The minute Charlie was shot, he called me, says, Dad, Charlie's been shot in the neck. Please call every pastor and pray. He has wits about him. He was just directing. He had blood all over him.
So, and this is your pastor.
Hear that? What was that?
Wow.
Why on earth would you do that with your voice in a video? Like, bro, relax. Relax. I know it's bad out there. I know, they took Charlie. They come after people. I know, but come on with that voice. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, that was the number one thing, and I know I've been through this with you guys already. Mikey McCoy did not have blood all over him. And also, the question was that a lot of people had, the few people who gave me some pushback, the thing was, well, Mikey McCoy, maybe he went to the hospital and he picked him up, or, so many things could have happened. No. And you'll hear from the eyewitness, that didn't happen either. Now, let's keep going. I gotta brush past this guy, though.
Did not have on him not one drop of blood, he told them.
Signals? Really? Turk. Oh, signals? Really?
But this is not the only lie he told them.
Frank Turk. Oh, signals? Really? You're gonna put that garbage out? That they were giving hand signals? That was Frank Turk. He was covered in blood because he was giving Charlie CPR.
Actually, Frank Turk wasn't covered in blood.
Now, those voices, you know what? They sound Russian. Maybe they're really afraid because they're in Russia. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but absolutely terrible. Now, this creator, they're about to point out the same thing that I did. It's like, how can he be covered? He got ducked down, he ran off, blah, blah, blah. But he actually does get into the back of the car. Thank you guys for letting me know that. Now, I'm just going to play the rest of the clip, and then we're going to jump over to the eyewitness.
When Charlie was in...
Fractured it, and fractured nose.
Just the worst.
And the other guy,
voices.
Dan, the security guard, he's somehow tied in with his conspiracy. Get over yourself. Dan is a believer. I love that man.
Dan is Dan's not Christian. How do I say this? Dan is he's Philadelphian. I know, way too close to the camera, but you have to understand, I have a Patreon now, so consider subscribing to the Patreon. As you know, sometimes we get attacked by bigger accounts and it puts this channel in jeopardy. On Patreon, I'll be able to talk about things that I can't talk about here, and you'll have more of a link to me, just in case, like I said, they're going to figure out this whole Philadelphia thing that I've been rolling with the past few weeks. And if they do, you'll find me over there. Link in the description. You see what I mean? Why is Rob McCoy taking the time to make so many things up? Like, what is that? It's so odd. To me, I know some people just be like, oh, well, he's a liar. That's it. It's just so many things in one speech, and let me tell you something about this speech, okay? I know what this is called. I pulled up this speech, and Ian Carroll saw this speech, and he pulled it up on his stream, and I saw the title, and I saw what page it was on, what YouTube channel, and I go there, and I can't find it anymore. Why? Because there's so many people pointing out how many lies are told within that sermon. If you can even call it that, it's not even a sermon at this point. But you're just airing out your own grievances. Like, this is not something that a congregation needs to hear. I get upset when I go to church and it's just music for like 40 minutes. I'm like, where's the word? I want to just hear Bible. Can I just get Bible? I might have to go to Catholic church because I'm just trying to hear Bible. Just let me hear the one. Can I just hear it, please? I don't want the guitars. I gotta be honest, I don't want the drums and all that, But again, this guy's just airing out grievances here. So what is this even? Now, let's jump over to this guy who is actually here at the hospital. Of course, you can see it's the first shot. Settle in, it's a pretty long clip. It's about almost 5 minutes. Let's get into it.
So they head north. pull in right over here where it says ambulance. Right here. Then they go around over here to the front where it says surgery. And then I was parked right here. And when they pulled in here, some dude gets out in the back, some dude's in the back, like of the SUV. He has like a white hat on. And he gets out from the, I don't know what he's doing in the back. He's in, no, not like in the back seat, he's in the back. Like the hatch of the SUV opens up. Dude gets out, driver gets out, he's bald-headed dude. And then they're met by some people right here.
Now I just gotta go back. You're gonna hear the rest of it because it sounds very weird. But listen to what he says.
And he gets out from the, he has like, when they pulled in here, some dude gets out in the back, some dude's in the back, like of the SUV. He has like a white hat on. And he gets out from the, I don't know what he's doing in the back. He's in, no, not like in the back seat, he's in the back. Like the hatch of the SUV opens up. Dude gets out, driver gets out, he's bald-headed dude.
Now understand this. This guy is describing somebody who, according to Rob McCoy, and I think, I'm not sure if Andrew said it as well, but I'll say, according to one person at Turning Point who is telling the story where everybody else is being silent, he's telling the story. One person is saying, this guy's covered in blood.
Yeah, that's what we doing here. What's your name? What his name?
That if they were on
Hold up,
the way,
Dad. Hold up. That man just said, we watching a live stream of someone else's live stream or what? We're gonna give you a moment, man. Because why would you ask me that? No, because why would you do that? Because what? Why? Attention? You want to? You get the key word we. That means you, too. And if you're not, you know what you can do, can't you? We trying to learn something about what's going on. That's it. Because let me tell you something. If it can happen to her, it can happen to you. It can happen to me. It can happen to any of us. But the funny part is that why she not really getting so much support from the government as she's saying she is. So it's more of a difference for me because I think the value of the channel is more of where we inform and understand and be aware of what's going on. I would say the value is not just going to be right here in this moment. The value is the channel. So you go check out the channel. When you check out the channel, you can actually then see the value of what's being discussed. Because for us first, we listen. That's what we do first. That's the biggest thing that we're not doing in the world is listening. That's the value of the channel. That's what we do first. Secondly, we read the headline. Third, we read in between the line. And when we do that, that's when we start talking. But the first thing we got to do, fam, is listen. And I've learned to do that because people start just talking and they give you their opinion and that's fine. But I think it's very, very, very important to listen to all and then say, hey, okay, well, I feel this, I see that, and I don't understand this, I don't understand that. But I think the biggest thing is anytime I get up, walk off, come back, that is a great moment for you to learn something on your own. When you pull up here, No Filters, that's a great moment So when we ask again, are we watching a live, watch another somebody's? Yeah, that's what we doing. Why? Because this is live, and we doing it live and in living color and in person. Because a lot of stuff that we reading or we seeing or that we looking into, we doing it together. So it's not no offense, not a problem. I just felt like, you know, a lot of people don't come in asking those type of things. They just come in watching, and then they ask accordingly to what they're watching and what the discussion is of what we're talking about. Bringing you up to par. We found out, shout out to Chris, we found out that Candace Owens has been targeted for years by the DOJ and certain people that was appointed in the DOJ. They have messages that are leaked. They have emails that are leaked discussing blackmailing Candace Owens. See how I had to listen just for me to be able to explain that to you. That was the biggest thing. I got to listen to be able to explain that to you. So I think it's very important that we just, like I said, we want to listen first when we come in so we can understand. And then, you know, when a person pull up, they'll tell you, like, because family in here will tell you what's going on. But I think it's more mainly for me, you got to know the difference between the bots, the ducks, and the real family member. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to stuff like that. So it always comes down to listening, reading the headlines, and then reading in between the lines, because we here to inform, understand, and be aware that if it walk like a, talk like a, we know what it is. And the activities of a duck don't need to be second guessed. And that's the problems of what's going on. They quacking, they walking, they making noise, and you still calling it something else. And it's right there in your face. Call it like you see it. That's the problem with the world. Dancing around what we see. Not calling things as what we know that they are right in front of our face. And because of that, there's too much in between. It's too much gray areas. Is why they able to tear your subconscious up. Because you don't stand on nothing. You in a gray area always. And because of these gray areas, they're able to throw anything at your conscience, and you're just going to accept it. You understand that? You need to understand even the more, even with Candace Owens. The way she speaks, talks, and comes off, very articulate, very informational. But it still plays a role to understand her position and how high she's up there. Oh yeah, Chris, let me know what it is. That's a real thing. So like I said, at the end of the day, it's always going to matter at the end of the day to say, hey, hold up, wait a minute. You need to know people's background, who they involved with, who they married to. And then you need to understand the position that they're in and why they in it. And why they've been in it so long. Because of what they discuss, because of what they talk about, because of certain things they can discuss, other things they can't. Think about it. When Charlie Kirk passed away, how long was she talking about Charlie Kirk? Never said nothing about Urkel Kirk. And then when she did, she got right off of it. And then went right to another subject, basically saying, hey, she started off talking like Trump and them had something to do with it. But then all of a sudden, that flipped real quick to Israel, and then France, and then the French. It just basically went to a whole nother country. As if somebody said, hey, don't talk about that. But you can talk about all that over there. But don't get no light to that. That's how I felt when it came to Candace Owens. Oh yeah, man. Let's make sure we get that understood and written down, so they can understand that shirt coming sooner than you think. You understand, man? We ain't playing with nobody, man. Folk gonna know how we coming up in here so people can understand that these are landmarkings when we sitting here understanding what we doing and how we making sure we understand and be aware. You hear me? That duck activity gonna be crazy, fam. I see. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's a bigger deal and a bigger situation. And that's why we here to inform, understand, and be aware. That's why we try to bring light to darkness, and then for people that needs to see just how fast, you know what I mean? And understanding what's going on. Are we really taking it serious? Hit that like button, double tap that screen, family. Let's go.
And I think
who may have doubts. So let's start from the beginning. It was just a couple of days ago. She went back into President Macron's situation. You guys know the Macrons filed a lawsuit against Candace Owens. She put together this timeline of when things started to take a turn. So let's look at that timeline, and then let's get to these accusations that she is making more recently.
When I began to create a timeline of when my life took a very different turn, it is because I began prodding the narrative on Israel at the exact same time that I began looking into the Brigitte Macron story. That was in March of 2024. It was on March 13th, 2024, that I did the very first ever episode on Brigitte Macron, right? And then, wham, I am fired within 10 days. It's a pretty quick turnaround. Charlie, of course, was a staunch defender of mine. Immediately when I got fired, publicly and privately, he held my back, and then suddenly donors start to squeeze him and tell him that I can no longer hit the stage of Turning Point's AmFest. They want me gone from a Turning Point roster, right? I bring my new independent show back in June. And the timeline, actually, when I start to put these things together, is interesting. So we're going to bring that up here because I like timelines. It makes things neat, right? So we are in 2024, right? March 13th, I do that first episode regarding Brigitte Macron. March 19th, just 6 days later, I'm fired from the Daily Wire. I thought it was 10. It's actually 6 days later I get fired from the Daily Wire. Then,
pause. So this is something I was not aware. I didn't put this timeline together. When she was fired from the Daily Wire, we all know that was after her criticisms against Israel, because she started doing that on the Daily Wire before she was fired. And I thought that she was fired for that reason and that reason only, because Ben Shapiro was like, no, you can't talk about Israel this way. There was a rabbi that came on the Daily Wire that she, interviewed and went back and forth with, and then she was kind of gone. But I didn't put the connection here with the Macron story as well. So now this makes a little bit more sense that March 19th, she was fired from the Daily Wire. And March 13th, 6 days before that, was the first episode about Brigitte Macron.
in mid-November, I began communicating with Xavier Poussard regarding the potential to interview him during an upcoming trip to London. Xavier Poussard is the person who wrote the Becoming Brigitte book. He has never been sued for defamation, and I was only going to interview him one time because he had never been on camera. I thought that would be a great get, and I still believe that Brigitte Macron was born a man named Jean-Michel Tragneau. Suddenly, on December 3rd, before I interviewed him, I received the first ever cease and desist letter from Brigitte Macron and her lawyers. And the funny thing is, I didn't receive it. They sent it to a really strange inbox that was not monitored, right? This is on December 3rd. You can see, please see attached the time-sensitive legal correspondence sent on behalf of our clients, President Emmanuel Macron and Brigitte Macron. We urge you to provide this correspondence to legal counsel promptly. They sent it to the Club Candace info. I was totally a random box sent it to, so we didn't get it. We go back to our timeline, that's December 3rd, and 7 days later is when it's announced that Satis, that's when it's publicly announced that Satis, that French company, has inked a deal in Wilmington, Delaware for a hangar. Okay? There's other.
So let's pause here about the inbox. She says that they sent that cease and desist letter to an inbox apparently that wasn't active. It could have been an older one or something like that. You would have thought that they would have sent an email response system. Like there's an example where you can send something to somebody and it's set up in such a way in the email so that you would get a notification if they opened it or not. And I would assume with something like a cease and desist, they would have had that in place, but it sounds like they may not have. Let's go on a little bit more here.
A French company, the CEO who knows Emmanuel Macron, we've confirmed that, decides they're gonna sign a 2-year lease for an airport hangar. To do what? To paint planes. I'm not kidding. Elsewhere in that article, it tells us that it's a French multinational company that specializes in the painting of aircrafts, and they plan to open for business in a hangar not far from Wilmington Airport come the new year. So 2025, this is going to be their hanger. Okay, interesting. Back to our timeline. That is publicly announced on December 10th. And then on December 18th, Tom Clare sends another follow-up email regarding the cease and desist. And again, I don't receive it because he's sending it to this random box. I am forever thinking in my brain now, what if I had received it? I would have been spooked. I would have thought that they were monitoring communications between me and Xavier Poussard, the obvious answer, because I hadn't been speaking about Brigitte Macron on my podcast.
So yeah, this is interesting about the cease and desist. Yeah, they were pretty pissed with Candace for that particular series. Let's go to another part here of this video where she gets into a little bit more information about what she was told via text message by Charlie Kirk about the White House and their implication in this. Listen to this part.
It goes viral because it was a shocking story, an unbelievable story.
Oh, sorry.
First episode of Becoming Brigitte. Brigitte season 1 airs. And obviously this show goes viral because it was a shocking story, an unbelievable story. People worldwide are going, what the heck is going on? It's not what the press told us. It really kind of, it shocks your core that the press could be in on telling a lie this big. And then on February 17th, we premiere my sit down with Xavier Poussard. Okay? Jumping back into this timeline, that's on the 17th that email comes, that we premiered that sit down interview with Xavier Poussard. And a couple of days later, on February 24th, Charlie Kirk reaches out and he tells me that the White House is asking me to stop speaking about Brigitte. And he tells me that it is related to the peace deal in Ukraine. That is ostensibly the reason on the same day, February 24th, that's how quickly the phone call happened. This is the day that Donald Trump meets with Emmanuel Macron. Do we have that, by the way, the text message between me and Charlie? Here we go.
Pause here for a second. So I didn't realize that either, that according to her, that Donald Trump told her basically stop what you're doing. Stop talking about Brigitte, stop talking about the Macrons. Kind of weird, right? Like for a podcaster, for the president to contact a podcaster and say, stop talking about this person. Well,
Crazy.
I feel like we live in a cartoon where like I never thought like the president of the United States would even be interested in what like a podcaster is saying. But she said that he told her to stop talking about it. That's important when we get to the statement that she just made recently. So here are the text messages.
Well, yeah, this is February 24th. I'm showing you guys this now. Hey, I have something to tell you from the White House. They asked me to call you. I'm just a messenger here, but it's important. I say, okay, I'm around, call me. Then we have the phone call. And then I was like upset about the phone call because I was pregnant. And then I felt bad. And I was like, okay, let me think about it because I don't want people in Russia to be killed because I won't stop speaking about Brigitte if the Ukraine peace deal is actually what's at the center of this. And he says, okay. And then I tried to say, I will circle back tomorrow, or maybe I said tonight, call if you want to chat at all. And we did, we chatted. The next day you can see he starts with the White House just asked for your number, FYI. I think POTUS might call you. And that's not what happened. On February 25th, actually, Sergio Gore called me and asked me to stop speaking about Brigitte. And it felt more like an order than a request. And I did not respond in kind to that. February 26th, President Donald Trump calls me and asks me to stop speaking about Brigitte. Now, Charlie's in the middle of this. Communications are happening between me and Charlie about Brigitte, okay?
What'd I say? But the President Trump called directly. That's how you know there is something brewing right there with that president and his wife. Something true about it, something embarrassed about it, and the fact he's the president over there in France or wherever he at. You don't think that's, boy, you crazy. And Trump had to call her directly like, yo, I need you to stop. I need you to stop. Yeah, I need you to stop talking. It's basically what that is, man. That's basically what that is, man. Telling that girl to stop talking. And she don't get it.
So she was told twice, and she was told by two different people, Sergio and Donald Trump.
On July 1st, and by the way, the series was over, and I said I'll agree to be quiet about this for a while because it's no longer relevant, and I don't want like Christian men to be slaughtered in Ukraine because I'm not keeping my mouth shut. Now, on July 1st, Macron sends another legal threat. On July 18th, this is where things get really interesting, Charlie Kirk hosts Tucker Carlson at SAS. This brings in the Tucker element, right? He tells Tucker to go max, call out Israel, Jeffrey Epstein, just go max. And guess what? Tucker really did go max. I want to actually play for you this clip of what Tucker said on stage. Take a listen.
The unfairness of it drives you crazy. And it's particularly galling in the case of Jeffrey Epstein and the whole constellation of people around Jeffrey Epstein, all of whom seem to be getting away with scams. And how do you know they're getting away with scams? I'll tell you how, because they're useless and they're rich. So how do you come to a place where some of the least impressive, most useless people who have no actual skills become billionaires? How's that legitimate? And by the way, if you ask this question, at least in Washington, it's like, oh, well, that sounds like you're a socialist. Sounds like socialism. Yeah, okay, I'm a socialist now. All right. I was a Qatari agent or a bigot. Now I'm a socialist. All right. Leaving aside my committed socialism, can you answer the question? How did Bill Ackman get $9 billion? Bill Ackman, a pretty impressive guy. I know Bill Ackman. No,
he can't.
Bill Ackman's like well-connected and super aggressive. That's it.
That's cool.
His father had money also. He grew up with money. And then also people become billionaires because they get other people to do the hard work for them. They exploit labor. That's how they become billionaires. That's pretty much how it works.
And I think, well-connected, super aggressive people deserve a fair living like everybody else. But if you're accruing $9 million just because you're willing to do anything, I don't know why we have to pretend that's good. How did Epstein get 4 Gulf Streams? How did he get an island, a massive ranch in New Mexico, the biggest house in Europe? Like, what is that? Like, at some point, the basic economics really matter. And they matter because, not that it's bad that rich people are getting richer, it's bad that everyone else is getting poorer. And it's especially bad that young people can't afford home.
So Tucker is getting to the heart at there is that we don't live in a meritocracy, right? You have people who, because of their bloodlines, are just being handed things, right? Barry Weiss is a perfect example of that. Nobody knows why she is an executive at CBS. She has no objective talent. I will guarantee you everyone around her is smarter than her, and yet CBS picks Barry Weiss.
She's a Zionist. She had that going for her. That's what helped her out. So this video here was streamed 4 days ago. And so she went back into talking a little bit here about the Macrons and the Charlie connection, also with Donald Trump. Now, why is that important? I wanted to show you that because of the statement that she just made recently about this threat on her life. Urgent. 2 days ago, I was contacted by a high-ranking employee of the French government. After determining this person's position and proximity to the French couple, I have deemed the information they gave me to be credible enough to share publicly in the event that something happens. In short, this person claims that the Macrons have executed upon and paid for my assassination. This is a big claim. Let me highlight this.
Brian, I go by the name of Dilla T. And this is my fam. And this is No Filters. Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. sharp.
This is a big claim, you guys. So she is saying that this person claims that the Macrons have executed upon and paid for her assassination. Now, a lot of people saw this and they're like, this girl is crazy.
Did you hear that? She said they done already paid for the hit. So somebody out here, like a hitman, looking for Candace Owens. And now the world know it. Real quick, happy Thanksgiving to y'all, fam. Let me say that right now. Happy Thanksgiving to y'all, fam. I hate this for Candace Owens because her Thanksgiving is not all that. She better be around her family. And she better not be around family because if they coming, she might want to stay away so it don't be no innocent bystanders. But happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of y'all, fam. We in here, we here. We here, we here, we here. We're thankful for a lot, but truly thankful to be able to sit here and say happy Thanksgiving. That's more than enough for me, family. Because we just thank God that we are truly in the land of the living. You understand? To my brothers, my sisters that ain't with us, my Thanksgiving is just being able to tell y'all happy Thanksgiving, man. That's all it is for me, fam. You feel me? That's a real thing. I thank God my 2-year-old, beautiful child, Lord, she's truly doing well in her breathing and in her health. We've been through a lot this year. We've been through a lot every year, but mainly, even mostly, this year has really hit different because of the procedures that has needed to be done for my baby. But oh, good God, I'm telling you, I'm trying to tell you, I'm here to tell you, she breathing. Her stats are up in the 99th percentile. And I'm trying to tell you about just being able to just be here. Just being able to exist. Another Thanksgiving in this simulation, in the world. With y'all, my family. You get what I'm saying? Hoping that all, that's real, Chris, hoping that all of you all truly enjoy your Thanksgiving, because the biggest thing I can tell is that a lot of people don't have family. A lot of people ain't really thankful for nothing because they've been through a lot. So, you know, you get a chance, man, you try to help somebody, try to feed somebody tomorrow, man. You ever tripped off that? Why don't y'all try to feed somebody tomorrow, man? Everybody got every house they can go to. You got people plate. You get a plate from here, from there, from them, from fam, from them over here. But ain't nobody taking nobody no plate. Ain't nobody picking nobody up, taking them to go get something to eat. Call somebody, man, you know ain't getting nothing to eat, fam. Call somebody you know ain't gonna have no Thanksgiving for real, fam. Reach out, man, get them something to eat, man. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. And do it from the heart, because you reap what you sow. And it's a beautiful thing to sow that seed, to be able to feed somebody. You hear me? Yeah. Feed somebody tomorrow, man. Just don't feed yourself, man. Feed somebody tomorrow, man. You feel me? Feed somebody tomorrow, man. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Yeah, man. Feed somebody tomorrow, man. Yeah. You know that cousin that don't never come out? Yeah, you know that uncle that don't care nothing about nothing. But you know he still love y'all. Feed somebody tomorrow, man. Call your family you ain't talked to in a minute, man. You know they hungry. They stubborn. Attitude. But they don't even know how to tell you they love you to death. And they miss you. And they just want to be around you because they thankful that you still here. You better hear me. That's what people be having on their heart. That's what they be having on their mind. There's too much pride, Lord, to where they can't even get it out of their face to let you know I miss you and I'm thankful for you and I want to eat and break bread with you. You understand? I want to break bread with you. I want to partake and feast with you. You feel me? So that's a big deal, family, that we feed someone tomorrow. I think it matters. You call somebody and see if they hungry, even if they don't even want to get nothing. Just call somebody and see if they hungry. You hear me? You understand? That's a blessing, Brandy. Brandy says she be feeding the unhoused. Thank you so much to Kaylin and fam about my daughter. I appreciate you so much taking the early time out to listen. But I just want you to understand that that's a big deal. Feed somebody, fam. Reach out to somebody. Just ask about somebody, man. That somebody tomorrow gonna eat. Somebody gonna eat so good tomorrow, and somebody gonna starve. Thank you so much, Brandy. Somebody gonna starve tomorrow, somebody gonna eat good. Be the reason why somebody eat good. You hear me? Be the reason why somebody eat good tomorrow, fam. Just don't stuff your face. Be the reason somebody else eat good. It'll do something to you, make you feel good. You'll feel it. You'll feel it. You'll feel it. It'll do something to you and her that you just know you fed somebody. It'll just make you feel good because you know you gonna eat. You know your plate over there, your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plates over there. Call somebody, ask them, man, you eat, man? Come get you something, man. Or let me bring you something, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Get back to rolling up, drinking up, watching TV, all that good stuff. You feel me? That's a real thing. So I just want y'all to understand that we ain't done yet. Hit that like button, double tap that screen, subscribe right now, family. You know what it is. I'm with you, Chris. It's real.
She's losing her mind, blah, blah, blah. You know, she has not had a show because, like I said, we'll get to that in a second. She said there's not going to be a show this week. So people are like, okay, where are the receipts? Like, prove it, you know? But every time people have said that, she's come forward with receipts. But this is a serious, serious accusation. So listen to this as well. Yes, you read that correctly. More specifically, that the green light was given to a small team in National Gendarmerie Intervention Group. I am told there is one Israeli that is on the assassination squad and the plans were formalized. Again, this person provided concrete proof that they are well placed within the French government apparatus. Further to this point, this person claims that Charlie Kirk's assassin trained with the French Legion 13th Brigade with multi-state involvement. Wow. So now she is linking Charlie Kirk's death also to French assassins. That's why I wanted to show you the video of what she said more recently about the Macron thing and going through the timeline. Like, we already know the Macrons have sued her. They're not happy with her about this. This claim, this is a wild, wild claim. Yeah, so right. All I would say is I sincerely hope she comes forward with receipts, because right now people are saying she's crazy. Because this is a serious claim though. Let's go on here. Journalist Xavier Poussard's life is also at risk. So she's naming another person who she said is at risk. This is. I'm gonna tell you the truth why they saying she crazy and why she tripping. And I'm gonna just be real with you, because in my community, in this community here, let me tell you something. We don't really naturally go through stuff like this. We don't be hearing about some person in another country putting money on our heads. See, them black folk or folk that's from the hood, deep projects, oh no. Just black folk. We not hearing somebody in another country putting money on our heads. Understand what's going on here. That's why people looking at her like, what? This black girl talking about who? Who care about her little black ass? You better hear me. Yeah, that's how they look at that. That's how they seeing it. Because that ain't normal. That ain't usual.
Because who in what other country, what president, wife, and whoever else care about this little black girl talking all his mouth? That ain't usual. So now that it's here, people like, oh man, don't nobody care about her. She gotta be lying. You understand what's happening here, fam? They don't believe it because we ain't never been through it. But they not looking at the situation. The girl been rocking with Charlie Kirk forever. She inside, been tied in, been doing this. Come on, man. Yeah. And you said her mouth been running about a lot of people. That's a real thing. So we got to understand there's real Nikki Love in the building. Nikki Love in the building. I got that raffle from you, Nikki Love. That's a real thing. Also, too, Nikki Love, make sure we hitting the email. And we, because family said, hey, we want to make sure we check back on the email to make sure that we know your color and your size. Because I believe they had gotten your size, but not your color. So let's go back to the NOFEELTERS314@gmail.com so we can make sure we know the size and the color, so we can make sure that we get your raffle. New, old, don't play with us. Classic threads, no filters, t-shirts, customized color, custom made, all by the boy. Understanding, signed by your boy Dilla T. Sponsored by Savvy 4L. That's a real thing. That's how we coming. That's how we going. Let's make sure we checking emails, fam, so we can do it the right way. Never forget, your chance to win. $2, bam! $5 for the hoodies, $2 for the raffle. Make sure when you're sending it in to the No Filters Cash App or the Super Chat, be clear that this is $2 for the raffle or $5 for this or $10 for that. However much you put down, family, let's just be clear on what we're doing so you say that's for the raffle. And that's real, and we're going to make sure that we go live on the 28th November, I believe that is Friday, the day after tomorrow, that we will be announcing a no signed by you, of your color, signed by your boy Dilla T and my fam here at No Filters, family. Let's make sure we solid on what we doing and make sure we good on that. It's all good, Nikki Love. You know it's love, it's support. It's always been day one. You know I got you. I'm going to let you know what it is because I want you to get what's due you. And what you are the winner. You are the winner. Smith, shout out to Smith. That was the other winner. Smith, we want to make sure that he's sending in his size, the color, and if anybody want customized on the back of the name and all that goes into that, family. You see the No Filters Super Chat. You see the No Filters Cash App pinned at the top of the link. Hit that like button, subscribe, double tap that screen. Why? We cooking.
It's deadly serious.
Now, the way that we can order, you know, always you can go to the No Filter store right there on the dash, family, right there pinned in this live. You can just hit right there on the dash and just go through, family. You can check out the merch. You can check out the spell. You can check out the threads, the classic threads, or even the classic ones that has even the quotes that we go through each and every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. When you put on the whole armor of the No Filters, you able to do that. Go to the store, family, support. Prices is definitely reasonable. Discounts are there. Biggest thing is that if you want to do anything more, even extra customizing, go to the post. You can check out the post. The post is showing the new hoodies, the new No Filters hoodies, customized No Filters hoodies. But again, in the store, you have our traditional classic No Filters threads. That's day one. So you all can do it, family. You got the store, you able to get there, or you able to get a raffle to win, or you able to just go directly to the post and look at what customized hoodie that you want. And you send that order in. Let me know. And all orders can be sent to NOFEELTERS314@gmail.com. That's the email. That's the way we connect with Dilla T. You want to send something in. You want to support family any way possible. Clothing, anything. Send it to the Gmail so we can know that's what's coming, so we can make sure you have the address of where to send all your love and support, family. I truly appreciate that's a real thing. Let's make sure we double tap that screen, keep going, double tap that screen, keep going, hit that like button because you woke up today. We cooking. Subscribe right now. Hit that subscribe button and hit that subscribe button. You can subscribe, yeah, because that ain't gonna do nothing but let you know we going live Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Put the notification bell on all, and you will never miss an episode, family. Even if you ain't on time, it still will be right there in your feed waiting on you. So again, you helping this video go far by hitting that like button, family. Reaching out, letting people know, like, subscribe, and hit double tap that screen and become a member today. Let's go, family.
Head of state of France apparently wants us both dead and has authorized professional units to carry this out. I ask that every person retweet and share this. I do not know who in the American government can be trusted since this source claims our leaders are aware. But I have more specific information, which is definitely...
Now, that was the first message about her saying, hey, I don't know who can be trusted in the American government. Because I'm hearing that they know what's going on, but nobody's reaching out to help me. But then all of a sudden, last night, she came out with the tweet that, hey, we ain't doing nothing else all week. And now that the White House and counterterrorism are fully aware. So what they gonna do? Fully aware now that you know, but now what they gonna do? What are they gonna do? Yeah, fam said surrender. You looking at people that's in position like this is deep, this is different, and this ain't usual for a black woman to be talking about some friends, married couple put money on your head publicly. And now it's just everybody talking about when Candace Owens gonna get got. And if they even don't get her and something go wrong, they still gonna blame them folk over there because them people publicly saying they don't like us. They stupid. They gonna get blamed for whatever this girl go through, even if they don't do nothing. So what's smart about that? Nah, I'm tired, but what's smart about that? We gotta make sure we understand here, man. Let's be real, what's going on here? Be smart. If this make it to CNN, it's really extra real. You understand me? If it make it to CNN, it's extra curriculum real. Because now we done tapped into real government channels, real main sources of things. It's sad, man. I'm gonna be tired, but in my mind, man, I'm just so like, man, if they really after Candace Owens like that, she ain't coming back to podcasting. She might want to hang it up. She better get back to tweeting and Twitter. That's it. Because she come back outside and they done already paid these people to put a bag on her head. What she gonna do? Where she gonna go? Where you gonna run to? You gotta stay where you at when you hide. This is what this is. How they gonna call this off? Like, this real. Very much so real. So I'm just saying, fam, I just want to bring light to darkness tonight for you to understand that, okay, we was little bits and pieces, about Candace Owens, but now I said, no, we got to do this tonight. We got to go her tonight because at this point, they had already been talking about her in messages years before this. So they've always targeted her. Knowingly, when you start speaking, they start having conversations about you, and that's what this casting was. So. I'm just moved by it, bro, because it's like if they don't do nothing about it, then this girl got to stay on the run. Think about it. She got to keep running. If they don't do nothing about it, she got to keep running. Why? Because it's a government after you. It's a country after you. But that's real. As always, fam, you know what the level is, what's going on Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. with your boy Dilla T and my family here at No Filters. We here to read the headline, read in between the line, that we can determine that if it walk like a, quack like a, we know what it is, the duck activity, fam. We here to inform, understand, and be aware. That's what we're doing. Making sure that people don't understand, just take the bait. No, that's the world that we're living in. It's controlled chaos, and they would like you to be a part of it. A member of controlled chaos to keep our lives down bad and this and that. As always, I truly appreciate each and every one of y'all, man. Going back, checking out the content, understanding that we cooking everybody that want to get cooked. If they coming out talking crazy, if they misleading our family, if they don't want no future for our kids, and if they want to decrease this population, Lord knows we're not supporting it, but we will cook them. As always, fam, it matters to be here 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. Family, you know what it is. No filters. Only which way to go is right here 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. It's your boy Dilla T and my family. Make sure when you come in, you get you something to eat, you get you something to drink. You get you something to smoke if that's what you do, family. Because Nikki Love, you know what it is, and Chris, you know what it is, family. AJ, Eugene, you know how we're coming and we're going. Lori, Ruth, as always, family, I truly appreciate each and every one of y'all, and I thank you for your time and for your love. Be safe. Be aware. Lock them doors. And stay prayed up, man. As always, Dilla T, signing out. You have a good night. Be safe.